Hello, and welcome to My Streaming Bubble, the podcast where I talk about the streamable media I love with the people I tolerate. I am your TV watching and talking host, Jen, and today, back to be tolerated for another original versus remake discussion and ranking, is my very tolerable pal, Dozer. And today, we're going to be taking a drive down a long, quiet road in the middle of nowhere to check out The Last Houses on the Left. Welcome back, Dozer! Woo!
So the guy was telling him, like, well, can I get better than what I got for $10 last time? Because he came in with a 20. So he looked at the woman, and the woman's giving him, well, I'll see what I can do. So he takes the guy upstairs, and all these guys are just jacking off in this one room. And they're all just jacking off, and they're like, no, it's okay. Come on in. Like, I'd be taken back by that too. Oh, hey, what's up? Sorry. I'll tell you later.
You had me going for us. Like, is he talking to Virginia?
Remember that
wonderful.
from the remake?
Kind
it's in the
of.
very beginning when the two guys are talking in the car. The guy's telling the one story, and I was like,
that's right.
And then they get, off. But then I was like, wait, I want to hear how that story goes.
That's right. I forgot about that because I forgot that that's how the remake started. Because I was like, oh, because I have not watched really either in many, many, many years. So, but yes, no, that is correct. I was wondering what you were going to do for your little intro because I know you always like to do little things like that. So funny and original. So, but how are you, Dozer? How you been? It's been a minute.
Yeah, been a minute. When was the last one? Almost a year ago? Probably.
I think we're really good about doing that.
Yeah, well, that's my fault. So
it was holy shit. It was released October 27th, 2024, and we are recording this on October 22nd, 2025.
So almost a full goddamn year.
Almost a whole ass year. So
let's not do that again. All right, let's try to make this more about it.
I think we say that every time, and then a year goes by.
well, I always wind up switching jobs or something else happens, so it's my fault. I will take the blame for it.
It totally is, and I'm totally allowing you to take the blame for that. But otherwise, how you been this last year? Because I think I've seen you 3-4 times.
Yeah, and those conversations always turned out well.
Yeah. Nice, long, lengthy conversations.
Yeah, you show up to Aaron and Jason's. Mm-hmm. You're there for a few hours. Not one word to me until you leave. It's like, bye.
I know.
It's like, yeah, bye.
But you know how it is when we're all hanging out like that. It's boys on one side, girls on the other, because we're all in our 40s, yet we're all still 14.
Yep.
So
I don't want to hit cooties or nothing. So
I get it. Y'all got the itchy cooties. I want nothing to do with that.
I got that cleared up, by the way.
Oh, did you? Did you get some topical cream?
They had to go in a little bit further than that. I had to take pills for that, but
pills and
but it's
creams.
gone. It's cleared up.
Thank God. I was gonna say something, but I don't see you often enough.
Fair enough.
So. Well, all right. Let's go ahead and get started on this really delightful, really lighthearted conversation we're going to have about these two movies. When I told a friend of mine that I was pod prepping for this, she was just like, oh my God. Like it took her a minute to recover from what I just told her. So, yes.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little dark and dreary.
Yeah, but we'll try and make it as fun as we can. That felt wrong to say.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So from this point forward, we will be spoiling the shit out of both of these movies. So if you have not seen the 1972 Last House on the Left or the 2009 remake, pause the pod, watch the things, and then come back. Welcome back. All right. So before we get on to anything else, I will give the content warnings. This is going to cover both movies. And I mean, fucking everything. I don't know. Rape of a minor, torture, wiener biting, kidnapping, revenge killing, drug abuse, suicide. I think that's it.
Well, it's at least a good start.
It's a good start. No shit. I had that up and I just kept adding to it as I was working my way through the movies. It's like, oh my God. And then this. Oh, all right. So for the original, what IMDb says. Two teenage girls heading to a rock concert for one's birthday try to score marijuana in the city, where they are kidnapped and brutalized by a gang of psychopathic convicts. What I says about this movie, I says, this is a cautionary tale on buying drugs from unknown dealers. Stick to the community pharmacist you know, shop local. This was directed by Wes Craven and was written by Wes Craven. And writing credits also go to Ulla Isaacson. And it stars Sandra Peabody, Lucy Grantham, David Hess, Fred J. Lincoln, Jermaine Rain, Mark Scheffler, Richard Towers, Cynthia Carr, and more. It is available to watch on Prime, AMC, rent or buy on other streamers. This is not available at my library, but it could be available at yours, so go ask. Or don't. I don't know how weird that might make you feel. Do you guys have Last House on the Left 1972? Don't be so eager. All right. So for the remake, what IMDb says, after kidnapping and brutally assaulting two young women, a gang unknowingly finds refuge at a vacation home belonging to the parents of one of the victims, a mother and father who devise an increasingly gruesome series of revenge tactics. And what I says about it, I says, this is a remake of a cautionary tale on buying drugs from unknown dealers. Stick to the community pharmacist you know, shop local. This movie was directed by Dennis Iliadis and written by Adam Aleka, Carl Ellsworth, Wes Craven. It stars Garrett Dillahunt, Aaron Paul, Ricky Lindholm, Sarah Paxton, Monica Potter, Tony Goldwyn, Martha McIsaac, Spencer Treat Clark, and more. It is available on HBO, rent or buy on other streamers, and free at your local library. So, Dozer, what are your general thoughts on the original and then the remake? Please share.
Just to try, I'm trying to sum them up so real quick. I thought the first one was, you could definitely tell it was one of Wes Craven's first films. I thought that it wasn't, I don't want to say it was badly done, but I felt like the editing and the flow of the movie did not match very well. It felt like a lot of scenes were cut short and put together pretty haphazardly, with the gravitas. Am I using that right? Of the whole storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't always there, because it had a lot more comedic scenes and stuff like that in it, which I kind of took you out of it a little bit, as far as I thought. And then, so just to start with that, but like I said, you could definitely tell it was one of his first films. As the remake goes, I thought that was pretty well done. I thought they took everything that they needed to from the original and enhanced on it pretty well. It wasn't because it was done in 2009 when that whole torture porn kind of thing was going on. Mm-hmm. And they really shied away from that. It was pretty standard run of the mill kills in it, which is what you would expect out of something like this, I would think. Mm-hmm. So I thought the overall remake was pretty darn well. I enjoyed it. Okay. How about you? What were your quick thoughts?
So with the original, when I was younger, and this is like before I could drive, so I'm taking the city bus down to the library and checking out this movie, and I was just a little too obsessed with this movie. It mostly because I thought I was super edgy and cool for liking this wild, crazy, fucked up movie where really crazy, fucked up shit happens and it feels very snuffish. I thought I was just the coolest bitch on the block. But I think, and I still do like the movie for what that's worth, for everything that it is. And then when I ended up watching the remake, shortly after it came out, I remember initially thinking this is fine, but they made some the big main change that they made. I just really pissed me off. And I still don't like it, but it doesn't make me nearly as mad as it used to. And that's Mary living. Mary lives at the end of the remake. I liked it better that she died, as crazy as that might sound, but I have my reasons. So watching the remake for Pod Prep, I'm just like, this is actually objectively not too bad of a movie in of itself, and really not too bad for a remake. I thought they did a really great job updating everything for 2009, for modern times, little changes, it's not Mary's home, it's their vacation home. Whatever, that's fine. That doesn't make a fucking difference. We get a little bit more with Krug and the gang, like how Krug gets out of, escapes police custody. So I kind of like that. I like that they upped the brutality and some of the action. The other thing that I really did not care for with the remake is that they focus so much more on the rape than the murders, whereas in the original, the murders seemed to take front seat compared to the rape. Like, they straight up just fucking gut Phyllis, like pulling her insides out and everything. And we don't really see too much of the rape. I think Mary's rape is what we see the most of. And comparatively speaking to the remake, it's nothing compared to how much we had to endure. So I didn't care for that. And the fact that Mary lives. Other than that, it's not a bad remake. It's not a bad movie. Like, if you've never seen the original, it's still not a bad movie on its own. It very much is a product of its time, like you said, with the torture porn and everything. It's definitely got that kind of dark, gritty look to it. They did take out kind of the goofier, sillier bits that were present in the first one. But I feel like, because I agree, I think those kind of goofy bits with the dopey cops and everything, it's fucking dumbass cops. It takes you out of the moment, but I feel like with that movie, because I feel like that movie is so much more intense, I think there's just more of like a realistic feel to it. It's almost necessary to kind of have these moments of light and brevity kind of throughout, because Krug and the gang in that one are fucking vicious and vile. And there are times, even watching it the other night, where I'm like, they're acting, right? Like, shit just seems a little too convincing. And then just kind of reading through the IMDb, I guess David Hess and I think Fred J. Lincoln, they kind of pretty much stayed in character off screen and made filming for the actress that played Mary just a fucking nightmare for her, because they continued to harass her off screen. And that's not nice. And I feel like you can feel some of that when you watch some of her scenes when she's being like tortured and everything. So yeah, between the two, I think I still prefer the original, but the remake's not bad.
So when you're talking about, because I watched the first time I watched the original 72 was only, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, maybe 5 months ago.
Oh,
and
okay.
I watched it then because I was like, well, whenever the time I think that was back in April or whatever, I was texting you and be like, hey, when are we going to do this? And then
yeah.
That's when I first watched it. And I forget what service I watched it on, but it was on a streaming service. And I was looking through my notes just the other day and I was like, well, I remember some of what I wrote down. I was like, oh, I remember that part. But then I was like, I don't remember this. Mm-hmm. So I rewatched it today. Mm-hmm. But I think I watched it through a different service. And so I remembered the rape scenes being a lot more in-depth and vulgar the first time. But this time when I watched it, they seemed very short, if almost non-existent. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it had something to do with the streaming service I was using. And then I watched the unrated remake instead of the theatrical, and that had an extra minute and a half of the rape scene, mm-hmm. which I thought was 2 minutes too long. Mm-hmm. So when you sit there and say it was said that earlier, I'm a little confused as to maybe what versions you watched then, or where did you watch them from?
Let's see. The original I watched on, I think through Plex TV, because I don't think, and I don't fully understand how Plex TV works, but I know I can watch stuff there. Oh no, or maybe I did watch it on Prime. I fucking hate Prime. So that makes me, I must have watched it on Prime then. So, because that was always my initial feel when I watched the remake, was that the rape was focused on so much more than the actual like killing and stabbing of the girls and everything. For the original, when I watched it the other day, so the first time that there's rape implied is after the girls get into Krug's hotel room and everything, and they get him, and then Phyllis, I liked Phyllis in the original. She was very kind of like not taking shit, still talks a lot of shit kind of throughout everything, but they rape her almost right away. And we don't see it. We hear her screaming, yelling no, but the camera's more focused on Mary and kind of what she's going through having to witness this. The other kind of sexual assault scene in the first one is they make Mary and Phyllis fuck each other, something like that, you know?
Yeah,
But
it
we
doesn't
don't
go into a whole lot of on that,
no.
which is fine.
Yes. And then after that, Phyllis dies, and then they go back and rape Mary. And we see a little bit more of that. Like, we see a little bit more skin from the actress. We see Krug pretty much on top of her, but it's compared to the remake, it's like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So there really wasn't. So for me, I really didn't think it was that bad. And again, comparing it to the 2009 remake, because I felt like in the remake they spent a little too much time on that. Just the fighting, her fighting him, and all of that, and the tearing of the clothes. Like they didn't need to go that far. You don't need to show everything for us to know that a person is being assaulted, sexually assaulted. So I really just don't care for that whole part. But that's pretty much what I recall. And granted, I haven't watched the original one in a very, very long time. So I'm not sure what I may have seen that was different from when I first watched this in the 90s.
Okay.
It's crazy to say I watched this as a fucking teenager. And like I said, I thought it was so cool and edgy. Yeah. So when you talk about the first one, like with the pacing and everything, I kind of agree. I feel like, and with the first one, it's very much a product of its time. It's very 70s. So you have kind of all these like more or less like happier moments with these two young girls just like free and enjoying life, and like kind of more musical, you know, with the score kind of being like maybe happier. And even like the song that plays when the gang is driving around, it pretty much is talking about who they are and the terrible things they're about to do, but in a very jaunty, like happy kind of way, which is just fucking wild. But I feel like it does kind of take its time building up to the brutality. Whereas in the remake, I mean, it starts off with a fucking bang right out of the gate with the gang breaking Krug out from police custody, shooting the cops right in the face. Like, that was pretty badass. And I feel like it does a really good job kind of maintaining that throughout the rest of the film. So is that kind of like the vibe you were getting?
Yeah, but I also thought that the vibe from the remake was exactly where it needed to be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like with all those things you talk, we got suicide, we've got rape, we've got raping of a minor, we've got all these really heavy issues in a movie. The last thing I need is two clown cops to sit there and then try to, I don't know, lighten the mood. Like you're dealing with a heavy issue here, and the fact that they
Mm-hmm.
came out right out the gate with some hard hitting action. Well, I don't want to say hard hitting action, but you know, like it was
Yeah.
really dark. It was really gritty, like you said, and it to have that start and then maintain its way, I thought made the movie that much better.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It does. I think I mean, it kind of starts off, like I said, kind of like with a bang, more or less. And so that's a great way to kind of like grab your attention and kind of get you hooked. You're just like, oh, fuck, what the fuck is happening? Who are these people? Like, if you don't know the original, like, what the hell? And I think it's very effective in that sense. Whereas in the original, it almost starts off as like this really kind of, here's this happy family, like a husband and wife that really love each other, which is nice to see just anytime. And allowing their daughter to go out to a concert into the city and being very kind of like supportive of that. Like the mom still has her concerns, but everything leading up to them trying to buy drugs from them, and even a little bit after that, because in the original, Mary's gone for almost a full 24 hours before they're just like, oh, she's still not home. And, and then they call the police and kind of do all of that. So it feels like it takes its time to get to the point that they realize Mary is not home, not safe. Whereas in the remake, it starts off with the gang. And then, I don't know, for me, it dips a little bit as we kind of meet the family, Mary and her parents and everything, and Mary being a swimmer. I do like that we see the dad doing some doctor stuff, like in a hospital. That kind of felt more real. Whereas in the original, they just say he's a doctor. So I almost get this impression that he's like some hoity-toity doctor that like doesn't, I don't know. I don't know how to phrase this, but like in the remake, I almost get the sense that like the dad is like an ER doctor, someone who's just kind of like there and in it and in the shit. Whereas 72 dad is maybe just a surgeon and gets called in for highfalutin surgeon stuff.
Like boob jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like like nothing like real serious or anything, A
Yeah.
little tuck here, a little nip there.
Yeah. So, but the remake does a good job of kind of mixing and getting to know the family and then catching up with Krug and the gang and a little bit of that back and forth until we get to the point where they meet up with Justin or Remake Jr. and all that insane shit happens. But it's like as soon as they get to the hotel room and Krug and everyone shows up, it's like their terror begins right away, and it really doesn't kind of let up for the most part through the rest of the film, in my opinion, compared to the first one too.
I agree. But what was that conversation in the 72 that they had at the beginning? You said it's been years since you've seen it, right?
Other than just the other night watching it for pod prep. In the 72.
When the dad was talking about his daughter's boobs. Like, what was that?
I don't know, but that fucking annoyed me so much because like right before that, or at some like right around there too, like the cop or some other, I don't remember, but some dude was like, oh, and she's a very nice, beautiful looking young lady, and kind of makes like an icky, skeevy comment. And then we go into the dad being like, you can see her nipples. What's this? Oh, and then like Mary's like, they're called tits. And he's like, what's this tits business? And the thing that bothered me the most is not only the father commenting on his 17-year-old daughter's boobies, was the fact that she's completely covered up. She's got a long sleeve shirt. You know what I mean? It's not like she's wearing something low cut or skimpy. And even then, it still does not require any comment. But it's like, here we have a young lady who is completely covered up, but for whatever reason, they still need to sexualize her body because nipples exist.
Yeah.
But yes, that was really fucking weird. And I was just like, ugh, that was unnecessary. And then she's just like, oh, daddy. Like, no, daddy, nothing.
And can we please refrain from the word daddy? Like, if you want to call him dad or father, but daddy, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we not with that?
After a certain age, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I wrote that down because I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But And I have a fair number of notes and everything regarding the original. And then all my notes for the remake are pretty much just kind of comparing characters, like the different versions. So, in the first one, we have Phyllis, who is Mary's bestie, but she's from the city. So she's a little more rough and tough. And like I said, she pretty much talks shit all the way up until she dies. Like she still spits in the face of one of the guys, like all bloody and everything. In the remake, we have Paige, and Paige ain't shit compared to Phyllis.
No.
So I was just like, but I did like that even though they changed Paige slash Phyllis for the remake, I did like that they gave Mary a little bit more to her in the remake. Because in the original, Mary's very much like the kind of naive, innocent, good girl or whatever. So she doesn't do really anything except like cry all the time. Totally understandable.
Well,
Whereas in the remake, Mary, she's more vocal, like not by a whole hell of a lot, but she does like actually kind of talk back to the gang in the hotel room and stuff like that. And she kind of has like her little moments where I'm like, all right, so they gave you a little bit more guts. Oh, that's a bad choice of words.
well, do you suppose that also is because in the first one, Mary's only in it for half the movie until she's either dead or just laying on the couch anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't necessarily the final girl.
Right, right.
So to have that character maybe develop a whole lot more would have just been kind of
A waste,
yeah, kind of, I don't want to say a waste, but yeah, a
more or
diminishing
less.
return anyways on the
There you
end, as opposed to the first one with it being the parents then are the ones in the final act.
go. Mm-hmm.
So to have their backstory shown a little more and have those scenes that they did in the first one more prevalent, that's kind of where that interest
Mm-hmm.
went into. Do you suppose that's what that is? And then the fact that she survived in the remake, that's why they also had her backstory or a little more depth to her then.
Mm-hmm. I suppose so. I guess I hadn't given it a whole heck of a lot of thought, but that makes sense to me. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Because yeah, in the first one, yeah, neither Mary or Phyllis are the final girls. Mom's the final girl, dad's the final guy and everything. And, good for them. Where, yeah, I guess it makes a little bit more sense in the remake because in the remake, Mary is an accomplished swimmer for school or whatever. And so she uses that to her advantage to try and get away. And she uses her super fast swimming to get away. And that is very final girl behavior. Even finally making it back to the house, crawling all the way up to the back patio and rocking the chair to bang on the door. That is some final girl shit. And so that does kind of make sense. And since the remake is a good 20, 30 minutes longer, they're going to add a bit more for each character to kind of give them a little bit more weight or make us care about them a little bit more or not care about them in terms of the gang. So I wanted to ask you, when it comes to the gang, so we have Krug, Sadie, and Junior, and
And
then the other guy,
Frank or Fred. Is it Frank or
Fred.
Fred? Yeah,
I think
Fred.
the actor was Fred, but I can't remember what the character's name was.
Well, they called him Weasel, but his character then it's also listed as Fred and as his
Okay.
character name too.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so we have Weasel, and then in the remake, Aaron Paul kind of plays that Weasel character. Between the two gangs, who do you like more? Who was more ruthless and vile? Do you think it was kind of the same? What are your thoughts on Krug and the gang?
Yeah, that's actually something I've written down too. Is that I actually liked both. I liked the gang overall better in the remake because I felt like they were all kind of it was a darker tone with that gang too, like we had talked
Mm-hmm.
about. I don't know. I don't know if it was the editing, the dub over sound of the dialogue in the first one that I'm sorry, but I did not care for Sadie. And I
Mm,
thought Junior's character was a little off as far as it being where it was supposed to be. Like I
Okay.
get he was supposed to be like drug out on heroin and stuff, but he just didn't seem to fit the character style either. Which
Hmm.
I know that the two boys in each one were supposed to be like the moral compass, if you will,
Hmm.
of the gang. But in the first one, yeah, Sadie and Junior just didn't do anything for me.
Fair
But
enough.
between Weasel and Krug, those two and both of them, holy cow! I shit on Aaron Paul as much as I can because I don't think he's a good actor. I hated Breaking Bad, but in this movie, I'll eat crow on that one. He did a hell of a job.
All right. You hated Breaking Bad because of Aaron Paul and not like and all the writing and like everyone else's like Aaron Paul is enough to make you say you hate it. This is it. This is a Breaking Bad episode now. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you really want to go that route, we can. I got nothing to do all night.
Oh man. I mean, it's one thing to not care for the actor, but that is a statement about the show
I'm
about
sorry, but
Breaking Bad.
I guess I shouldn't say he ruined Breaking, but he was just, I don't think he was all that good at it. And I don't even know it was all his fault. I think a lot of the writing had something to do with it too, but the way it came off, I was really hoping he'd have just got killed in like the second or third episode just so he'd be done and I don't have to watch him.
Damn. All right. To be continued.
Yeah.
So, okay, so when it comes to the gang, I liked 72 Krug better. Because I just thought he's very fucking scary. Because for me, Garrett Dillahunt, I knew him from Raising Hope and maybe one or two other spots that he's had in other like sitcoms, comedy roles. So for me, this was truly the first time seeing Garrett in a very, very different fucking role. And not to say that he didn't do a good job, but for me, it was still hard because he's still the father figure from Raising Hope. And that show was hilarious. And I loved that show. And his character, Chance, cracked me the fuck up every time. He was just kind of that sweet, lovable, not the brightest kind of guy. So for me, it was hard to kind of buy him as Krug, especially since David Hess fucking scares the shit out of me as Krug.
So
So
I'm just looking through. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead.
I was just going to say, I prefer 72 Krug over '09 Krug. I prefer '09 Sadie over 72 Sadie. Overall, I think there's little things here and there that I prefer 72 Sadie over than '09. But for me, the main thing is that in the original, towards the end, Sadie turns on Krug, and there's no indication that she feels that way or is gonna pull something like that. Nothing clear in my opinion. So in the remake, I love that she was like ride or die Krug literally all the way to the end. I enjoyed that kind of consistency. I agree Aaron Paul as Weasel he was fucking ruthless and scary and terrifying, and he did a really, really great job just being a piece of shit. 72 Weasel, he's still pretty vile in his own way, but I think, again, because 72 has some of those, like, weird light moments, for me, he almost kind of falls in with some of that. And maybe it's because, like, towards the end when the mom lures him out to the shoreline and she gets his dick stuck in the zipper, and the whole time she's like, oh, that poor little thing, that poor little guy, and he's like, it's not little, you scared him. Just kind of takes the scary out of it. And I get that that's what they were likely going for, but that's why 72 Weasel isn't as scary as '09 Weasel. And then for Junior, both of them are okay. I think I would have liked to see a nice little mix of 72 in the '09 Junior. Just a little bit. Because the '09 or the 72 Junior, he was still pretty vocal about like, no, this is going too far. Just he's the one that suggested making Phyllis and Mary have sex with each other. He's like, no, just make them do that. Make them do that. Whereas '09 Junior or Justin still very much just kind of like doesn't really do much until the end, which is fine. And I'm glad he lives. I thought the way Krug in 72 just yells at his kid to shoot himself in the face. Like 72 Krug is way worse of a dad than '09 Krug. So yeah, Remake Junior would have liked to see just maybe a little bit more from him prior to the end, where he finally is like, enough. But otherwise, yeah, those two are just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I pretty much, I was just looking up Garrett Dillahunt's filmography, and this is the only thing I recognize him from.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I didn't have that history that you did. Like, I saw him in this, and I was like, he literally scared. Oh, I don't scare the shit out of me, but I think he nailed this role perfectly. Like, this is exactly what I wanted out of the lead guy.
Yeah.
And like you said, David Hess, I don't know that he's never really done some of that stuff before. Like, he played it so well.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that he hasn't had his hands in some dirty shit before.
Exactly. And that's why, for me, like, the original is just, it's just, like I said, it's always felt too real, too snuff film-ish. And that makes me incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, did you also think that, because when they were like introducing the gang in the 72 version, like they it's a movie in the 70s, so they had to do the news bulletin where they give the whole background in radio format, but they talked up Weasel like in such a dirty way that the fact that we didn't really get anything out of that, I felt, I don't want to say disappointed, but they talked a good game for him. And I was like, oh man, this guy is really a big piece of shit. What's he going to do? He doesn't really do a whole lot. It's like,
yeah, not a whole heck of a lot compared to Krug. Yeah, nothing. And I will say with 72 Sadie, I like that she just straight up seems insane. Like, there are a lot of things I think missing in that woman's brain. She seems very, very out there. Whereas '09 Sadie, she just seemed mean and angry, which that's fine too. But I kind of miss that level of just like psychosis in her, because you kind of have to be fucking crazy to be rolling around with that group of guys.
Well, especially as a female. I mean, I can't imagine the stuff that they were already accused and had done even before her actually witnessing what they did out in the woods. Like, to be a woman in that group, oh boy, you got to be some sort of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I was actually just thinking that with 72 Sadie, so I said that, at the end of the movie, she kind of turns on Krug, she pulls a knife on him and everything, and there's really no clear indication, and I still stand by that. The only thing I could think that would be kind of a hint is in the beginning where she's talking about how she wants another, more girls around. She doesn't belong to anyone. And then Krug's like, oh, you're reading those feminist magazines and this and that. And she's like, so she kind of makes some demands. And she's like, I'm not putting out until we get more women here. And yeah, feminism and, equality and representation and that kind of stuff. That is maybe the only thing that could lead to a possible 180 for her. Is maybe after witnessing all of that and realizing, if I do kind of want to start being more of a feminist, I can't stand by and watch this shit happen. But otherwise, it's still not clear, other than her just being, cuckoo pants.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just a random thought that popped in my head.
We'll chalk it up to Wes Craven's first movie.
There you go. And then I was reading in IMDb that, yes, this is his first movie that he directed that wasn't a porn. Apparently he had directed pornos prior to this. I didn't go do research. I'm just going by IMDb trivia. And apparently the original movie was supposed to be more of a porn. And then I guess that shifted. And so he took out all the explicit sex and just made it violent as fuck. And I was
Well,
like, interesting.
yeah, I read some on that too, and that apparently this movie has the original 72 has gone through so many different versions that there is no complete movie. Period. Like
Okay.
like apparently some theaters cut out certain parts just for their
Mm,
own sake so
mm-hmm.
that audiences wouldn't be as disgusted
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to I don't know if the MPAA was a thing back in 72.
I can't remember if it mentioned anything about the MP. I would think so, but I don't recall. I didn't write anything specific to that down.
Just trying to look here because it doesn't have a rating on it.
No. And the MPAA was founded in the Motion Picture Association was founded in 1922.
Also, it had to have been okay. Maybe I'm just not seeing it here, but yeah, from what I gathered, so there was like never an actual complete movie. There's just been different versions of it going around.
Yeah, I kind of saw that too. Yeah, different theaters, different countries. Yeah, cut out what they needed to cut out. But I guess I was always just kind of under the impression that the versions that I've seen back in the day and the other day were our US released complete versions. But I don't know because I wouldn't know one from another likely unless what they cut out was like a really major scene or really major point.
Well, it says here that the actual runtime of the original is only 84 minutes.
Hmm.
That seems kind of light. So that would kind of go with the theory that it's an incomplete movie, or at least what we
Yeah.
have now today. And that would also explain a lot of the choppiness that I was experiencing during the movie. That I was like, I felt like there was a scene missing or some extension that should have been there.
See, and I just kind of chalked that up to, and maybe, and quite possibly, but I guess for me, it was just like, oh, it's just a movie in the 70s. I feel like there's probably a good handful of movies that I've seen from that time period that has like questionable editing, whether intentional or whether it was because something got cut. Just not smooth transitions from scene to scene, moment to moment. And who knows, maybe in the 72 it was done that way to make it feel more disjointed and to make you feel a lot more like uncomfortable, I guess, because you're not getting these seamless scene to scene moments. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you got something here and then, oh, it's going to cut over here and some shit's going to happen. Then cut back over here. You're just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Too much. Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. That would be a guess.
No, that's a pretty good idea, actually. But I was also thinking though too that because it was also with the two different tones with the comedic side of it, cutting back and forward inside of it too. Do you suppose because it was 72, like horror movies were starting to make a transition at that point? Like in the 60s, I guess I don't really know too many horror movies in the 60s. And then there was the late 70s where we were starting to get slashers. So,
Mm-hmm.
so this is before that, where
Mm-hmm.
horror movies are just starting to kind of make their way in. And because of the gravitas of the rape and all that, that this was kind of unexplored territory as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you throw in some of that lightheartedness just to kind of break it up a little bit because you don't know how audiences are going to take it, especially
Yeah.
as early as this is.
Yeah. Could be. Or it could be because it was the 70s. Everyone was just high on drugs and they're like, this would be great. We should totally throw in some dumb cops and just be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's kind of
probably
like how a
right.
lot of
Like,
stuff from the 80s, you can almost like feel the cocaine running through your veins as you're watching this. You're like, what is going on? Am I high? A little bit, but not off of that. All right. So we've talked about the gang, and I wanted to know what your thoughts are on the parents 72 to 09.
I don't know. For 72, I other than the gang, I thought the rest of the cast was kind of forgettable. Like the gang was the only, as far as the rest of the people are, like the cops were just comedic jokes.
Mm-hmm.
they served no real purpose in anything in the movie. I mean, for Christ's sake, the chickens were more memorable
No shit.
than so take that for what it's no. I mean, the parents did fine for what they were. I don't know. I don't know. They just didn't seem to hold any my interest a whole lot. Like that whole second or third act where they're in
Mm-hmm.
the house and all that. The parents are just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Even though they're the driving force behind that whole act. So I don't know. What
Mm-hmm.
did you find the parents or anybody else in the 72 all that great other than the game?
I mean, I liked the 72 parents, and I see what you're saying. Like, I think because Krug and the gang are just that vile and just really kind of over the top in their attacks
Hmm.
and everything, it really everything else kind of falls within their shadow. So I can get what you're saying. I do like the parents in the original. Like I said, it was just they are very happy and in love, almost like nauseatingly so. And I'm sorry, that's just sometimes really nice to see versus like kind of your stereotypical like bickering parents or what have you. Um, but I would say that yeah, there's nothing really too outstanding for either of them. Although I will give the 72 mom credit as soon as she clocks that because she sees Junior wearing Mary's necklace that she had just given her like the day before. I will give 72 Mom credit for not overreacting, for not reacting at all in the moment, not getting all hysterical. Because, you know, by this point, their daughter's been missing for at least 24 hours. And
Hmm.
she could have easily have flown off the handle and gotten mad and you know, and upset, rightfully so. But I appreciate the fact that she kept her cool. She grabbed husband. They ran out and whatever. Like she basically told him, like, I found the necklace. And then they find Mary's body washed up on shore and everything. So I like that. I like that 72 Mom was able to play it so cool and so good for as long as she did. And then convincing Weasel, which didn't take a lot of convincing because he's a man, to go out to the lake with her and so she could bite his wiener and everything. So that's definitely one thing that I really, really liked about the mom in the original. In the remake, the parents are fine. I feel like they're very much like early 2000 parents in a movie. Like they're still very much in love as well. The mom definitely comes across as a worrywart, very concerned. It's not a dig, but they really kind of I feel like they really kind of played into that with that character. Both dads were very much like, she's a kid, let her enjoy her freedom, her youth, and this and that. And I appreciates that as well. But I liked the parents in '09 because it just, again, it felt very true to like the modern times. I wasn't alive in 72, so I have no idea how 72 parents behaved, if that was any indication, or if everyone was just high and just having a good time. The '09 parents felt very real, very much parents and couples that I've seen in real life and depicted in movies and everything. So I really kind of appreciated all of that. Like I said, I like seeing the dad actually doing some doctor things. And then when the mom in '09 finds the necklace and everything, she also does not overreact or become hysterical or anything. But you definitely see some of that apprehension when they're first devising their revenge plan, which makes sense because these are suburban white people. They are not going to take so easy, especially her. Him, maybe because he's a doctor, so he's used to seeing gross shit, but her definitely not. So she was very, very nervous when talking to '09 Weasel and trying to, you know, more or less try to seduce him in her way. But I think she still played it off very well and got her digs in and more or less kind of got into the swing of revenge. But I still give 72 Mom more credit in that sense. And then '09 Dad he was just better than the 72 Dad. I appreciate 72 Dad and getting the chainsaw and everything, but there was something still a
Well,
little bit more on the ruthless side with the '09 Dad.
well, the 72 dad when he was down in the basement and he was fucking around with the garbage can lid and the wrench. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Ah, this won't do." And he turns around, he's got a goddamn shotgun sitting on the goddamn top of the thing. And I'm like, why did you not get that first? I get it if it wasn't your house, but
Mm-hmm.
it's you know it's there. Why
Mm-hmm.
would you start with the wrench? And I was like, what are you doing here? Seriously.
Well, because he said that, because at one point the shotgun is brought into the fight. Krug gets it, or one of them, like he fires a shot. Krug gets the shotgun, tries to fire a shot, and doesn't. And the dad's like, "Sorry, Krug, I could only find one shell." So
Yeah,
to me, that says that that was all part of his plan, was to try and maybe throw Krug off his
that's
game.
fine. But if he starts with the shotgun while he's in the basement, looks for shells, then goes to the wrench because he's only got the one shell, then goes to the other ones, then I get it. But you don't start with
Fine.
the wrench if you know you got the shotgun. I'm sorry, that's just not
Maybe
how
he
that
just
goes.
knows he's a terrible shot. He's got a better chance with the
But it's
wrench.
a shotgun. It's got
I
buckshot. You don't have to be a good shot.
Maybe it's not his gun. Maybe it's a neighbor's gun. I don't know.
Yeah, that part I was just like, I don't understand how that worked. But then I was also going to sit there and say, well, while we're talking about the cast a little bit,
Mhm.
do you suppose that, I mean, let's face it, Tony Goldwyn and Monica Potter aren't pushovers. Like
No.
they've got quite a history, acting career. So
Oh,
do you suppose
yes.
that helped them give them a little more oomph in their roles? Because I don't know anything about the other two in 72. I didn't bother to look them up because
Mm-mm.
that's how good they were, I guess. But I was wondering if that had a little bit, because let's face it, the cast in '09 is pretty damn good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're not like big time huge movie stars like Sandra Bullock or anything like that, but they've held their own quite a bit. So
Yes. Quite possibly. Because yeah, the mom in 72, she didn't stand out as someone I recognized immediately. The dad, I felt like maybe I'd seen him in some things here and there, but I couldn't tell you what they might have been. And actually going through his filmography right off the bat, there's not a lot that kind of stands out. So could be, because like, yeah, Tony Goldwyn, to me, he's always like the asshole from Ghost. That was always my
oh yeah,
first
that's right.
impression of him. And so I was like, oh, you are fantastic at playing an asshole. Got it. And then, yeah, Monica Potter, I'm not sure. I know I've seen her in a bunch of stuff too. Couldn't name anything off the top of my head, but
Really?
oh no, am I supposed to?
Yes.
Oh no,
We'll
it
go into
must.
that later. We'll go into that later because that will come up later.
Oh no, that must be something that we must have talked about.
We'll go into it later.
Let's see. Oh, I know where I know her from. Okay, because now I'm looking at her filmography.
Oh no, you can't do that. That's cheating.
No, but what I remember her from is actually the TV show Parenthood, which is very much like a sap show, and I fucking loved it. And then seeing some of the other things that she's been in that I had seen, I'm like, oh yes, yes, yes. So
Well, like I said, she wasn't no big star, but you still recognize her, and she still was in quite a few
hmm
things. So
yeah.
between her and Tony Goldwyn, yeah, they've got a pretty decent acting career.
hmm Yeah. But I will say that while I enjoyed the revenge bits in the remake more so than in the original, there's something a little bit more sinister about the plotting, the planning, the setting up the traps and everything in the original than how the parents got their revenge in the remake. Like they pretty much knew, like, look, whatever it takes, we're gonna get these motherfuckers. And I appreciates that. But there wasn't a lot of planning or forethought. It was just kind of like stumbling into each scenario and then fighting for their life, which is fine. They both did fantastic in that. But there's just something darker and more fucked up with the plotting and the planning in the first one. You know what I mean? Like they're like the
And
mom
I
was
think
like,
so too.
Yeah. Mom's like, I'll lure this one out to the lake and then bite his dick off. Yeah, while you get everything else set up. And Dad's like, cool.
I don't think that biting his dick off was necessarily in the plan. It was just a happy accident. Like, I think
I,
she was to single him out and
mm-hmm.
get him out of there. Originally, biting his dick off just happened to be a happy accident, or just be like, hey, what the hell, I'm here.
Well, I'm down here, this poor little guy.
Yeah.
I like to think that it was planned. And so that's just my headcanon. That's where we're going to go. But I can see what you're saying as well, where maybe it was just she's got to get him out of the house so the dad can go around and set up his traps. And what easier way to get a man out of the house than to lure him with the possibility of sexy time?
I was going to say a sandwich would have done it for me.
These guys already ate. They had their spaghetti or whatever. Like,
I'm just saying, if it's been 3 hours since I ate, a small sandwich is pretty good.
I'll take it. Nice little
Or a six-pack of
cheese,
beer.
PB&J.
Oh, no. We're not talking PB&J. We're talking like ham and turkey with Swiss.
Swiss?
Yeah. Or provolone. Munster.
Okay. That's
Just
exactly.
not
Munster.
American. That shit's cheap-ass stuff.
It is, but you know what? I still think American cheese makes the best grilled cheeses. Just when you want something simple, basic with a good pull.
I'm fine with that answer.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh my
what are we
God.
talking about now? Well, we sound kind of
Breaking Bad. No.
Oh, do you really? You got all night?
I should rewatch that show. I did really like it. It kind of sucked the timing of when I started to watch it, because my dad had just been diagnosed with cancer, and so I was like, Dad, what do you say we take the camper and beat the system?
I don't think anybody blame you.
No. Hell, I think he even started watching it at the time too. He's like, not a bad idea. All
But then
right.
what about, do you think about the lead, though? The lead in both of them.
The Marys?
Yes.
Let's see.
Just to finish up the casting thing.
Yeah. They were fine. I mean, I guess kind of like you said with the original, that Mary, she's not really in it a whole heck of a lot. We get just enough of her to know that she's just a sweet, good girl from the sticks and loves her family, blah, 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 doesn't go into the city and all of that good stuff.
And apparently everybody wants to get in her pants or whatever, because the
Mm-hmm.
male guy at the beginning, the cop,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
her dad commenting on her breasts. Like, everybody was talking about how hot she was, so I was like, everybody wants to get in her pants.
Yep. Fucking it's so gross. And then for the '09 Mary, like I said, they gave her a little bit more gumption, and I can appreciate that, because then she felt more like a little bit more rounded out as a character rather than just, I don't even want to say like a caricature, but almost just like a cardboard cutout of what she was supposed to represent. You know, goodness, innocence, that kind of stuff. '09 Mary just felt like more of a real teenager, if that makes sense. She's going to borrow the car and she's going to go see Paige. She hasn't seen her in a really long time, and this and that. And she's a really good I don't know. It just, we got more of '09 Mary, and which just felt a little nicer, right? Other than like, this is going to be our victim. Here's a nice, pretty young thing that's about to be brutalized.
But that was the thing too, is because she was supposed to last the entire movie. So to have that instead of the 72, which we talked about, where she doesn't make it, which I read something that there were other versions where she actually makes it out in 72 as well.
Really? See, I don't like that.
See, I don't, because like I said, I think I've watched two different versions of the 72. And I think in the second time I watched it, I was for sure she died. In the first time I watched it, I don't think they ever say she lives or dies. There's no definitive answer.
Well, I mean, again, I don't know how many versions or whichever one I saw, but I know that they've always said that she died. She was dead. How they portrayed that may differ slightly, because like in the original, like I said, the parents run out to the lake and she's there and the dad pronounces her dead and then mom starts crying. Apparently there's a deleted scene where just before Mary dies, she's able to tell her parents that it was Krug and like who all did that to her. But she still died. I don't recall, and Grant, like I said, until the other night, I hadn't watched this since like the 90s. But I'm pretty sure she always died because that's what made me the most mad with the remake was that she doesn't die. I'm sorry, she has to die.
Well, I know in the '09 that they, to give her the backstory was so that you actually, because they know they're going to get compared to the 72. So they gave her the backstory to survive so that she had more clout. So you kind of wanted to see her survive is what it was. They wanted to make her that you wanted to see her to survive. So that because they wanted to change that. Everybody wants a happy ending, I guess. And sometimes you just don't get them, as far as I'm concerned. And in movies like this, sometimes the bad guys win. It's not fun. It ain't great, but
and so I am a sucker for a downer ending. I kind of love it when the bad guys win and everything ends on a fucking bummer of a note. Yeah.
That's just the way life is sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. It feels, I don't want to say satisfying, but it makes the whole movie feel that much more real, or at least heavier, or what have you, that, yes, things don't always work out as well as you want.
Yeah. A different level of like satisfying, because you're like, yes, that is more realistic because life sucks. I get it.
Yeah, remember, this is 2025. Just want people to know that.
Yep. So my whole thing about why Mary has to die is with this movie, both versions being more or less revenge porn, not revenge porn, but like a revenge horror movie. The fact that Mary dies, I feel like gives the parents like that much more oomph, that much more drive to get their revenge, to kill their daughter's assailants, right? They got nothing else. They got nothing else to lose. They just lost their one thing that they never wanted to lose. And to me, that makes sense from a revenge perspective. Whereas in the remake, yes, the parents still rightfully want revenge, even after they find Mary alive and the dad realizing that she's been raped and shot and all of that. Of course, they're still going to want revenge, right? Especially like right there in the heat of the moment. You just found her. You got the bad guys in your fucking house. Of course, you want to go in there and just start beating the shit out of motherfuckers. However, she's alive. And one could argue that, you know what? Call the cops, let them deal with it, be grateful that she's alive, get to the hospital. And I know with the storm and everything and phones being out, like that's the reason why they more or less had to take things into their own hands. But I feel like because she was still alive, they still had something to lose, right? Like at that point, she's not dead. She's still alive. They could get her off, take the boat into town to the hospital, get her checked out, and start that process of healing the trauma and everything. Whereas like the revenge, it makes sense, but I feel like is slightly less necessary. Does that make sense?
I can agree. I can agree with everything you said there, but I would also add the fact that you wouldn't necessarily. We haven't gone into a whole lot of detail of what actually happened during that whole scenario with Mary in either movie. But it seemed in the second one there was a lot of beating. There was a rape. She was shot at and left for dead in the lake. Surviving or not, as a parent, if I'm seeing my kid like that, survive or not, those people are dying, period.
Absolutely.
Not so much because of what they did, but what they could do to the next person too as well. And so those people aren't making it off my property alive, period. So I don't necessarily agree that she had to die for that, but I do understand why somebody could see it that way.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, if I were the parents, whether a daughter or my sons, brutalized but still alive, you bet your fucking ass it's going to take everything in the fucking world to hold me and Timmy down from going out and getting our fucking revenge. For sure, 1000%. I guess I just feel like with Mary dying, the revenge feels that much more impactful, that much more like you're really rooting for it at that point. So that's just my take. Like, yes, she can live and they can still get their angry revenge, and it makes all the sense. And I'm not trying to be like, well, she's alive, just be grateful and walk away. Like, yes, I did say that, but
I don't watch the news. I don't need to watch the news. Full circle there.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? For the movie, I feel like to really get the audience truly 110% on the parent side, I think it's just better when Mary dies. I feel so terrible for saying this. But like I said, in real life, if some shit happened to our kids and they survived, I would be seeing red for the rest of my fucking life. And I would really have to sit and make like a pro-con list on the goods and bads of getting the revenge that I need to get.
I do also want to remind our listeners that we are doing a movie review, not a moral review. So I just want to throw that out there. This is a movie review.
Exactly. But I still stand by that.
So one of the other things I wanted to talk about while we're still kind of comparing the two at the moment.
Yeah.
So we would say, because movies don't normally have 3 acts, right? Because I'm understanding that. I'm not a movie buff, or what do you call that? I'm not a aficionado. Thank you. That bothered me. So we got the first act, though, in both movies that are the setup of our main girl. I don't want to say final girl or whatever, but it's kind of for lack of a better term for the 2009, our fun-loving setup. Where we meet our characters and all that. The second act is where we have the sinister acts to the main girl. And then we've got the revenge part and all that in the third act. How did you like the way that they went from the second to third act? How the parents figured out or were let on what was actually going on? Because I feel like the first one, it was all kind of like movie dubbed voiceovers. Like there were some, they hinted at some hints in the actual movie, but I felt like some more of the stuff was like added in post because they're like, well, what if they don't quite get it? And then in 2009, you got the kid practically fessing up to it. So I don't know. I want to hear what you say first, though, about how those two setups, how you like them.
So with the 72, again, with the mom clocking it right away, I will say that it felt very disjointed from her realizing it. And then I swear to God, the next scene is her and the husband running through the woods out to the lake. What
that was
prompted
the
them?
dub over. There was a dub over in one of the versions.
Gotcha.
In the first time I saw it, I don't know that it was there. But then when I watched it through another service, there was the dub over. Okay. Like she's in the bedroom. She's kind of pieced it together, but she hears the clan in the other room, and it's just all voiced over dubbing.
Yes. And then, but yeah, it still felt very kind of like a little bit of like a disconnect. I kind of forgot that they did have that moment where she overheard them, which, whatever, that's fine. But then, next thing, like they're running out in the woods. How did they know to go down and look at the lake or whatever?
They specifically said that in the dub over. Like, we left her in the lake.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah. Okay. So my bad. I missed all of that.
No, but either way, it was fast. It was fast. So if you blinked, you missed it.
I blinked with my ears. Yeah. I do that sometimes when hubby's talking. Oh.
Blink or just completely shut him down?
Just blink with my ears. Just like, no. But there was like a choppiness to it. And like I've said, like a bit of like a disconnect in the original with all of that. But for me, that, I don't know, it just felt like that's just how some 70s movies were. intentional or not, I don't know. But it's very much like the vibe. Like I was just like, oh, that's just product of its time. It's how 70s movies were made. The editing was maybe a little off because everyone's like all high or something. I don't know. But I felt like in the '09 version, like it flowed. Like it made, like it worked, right? Because the mom sees the necklace. She realizes that it was Junior. She's piecing it all together. She's like, I knew it. He was looking at her picture all fucking weird. She's just kind of like gut feeling. And then kind of from there, right, everything starts to escalate. So I guess in the '09 version, all of that just had a better, like I said, a better flow to it, better kind of consistency, I guess. What'd you think?
So I think we should kind of set this up a little bit. So in both versions, the big tip off is the necklace.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first one, Junior's actually, he takes, like, it breaks off during the struggle in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to try to refer to it as, so we don't have to keep saying rape all the time.
Sure.
It's
I
the
like
struggle
that.
in the forest.
Yep.
And so it falls off and he grabs it and does she give it to him actually? She gives it to him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because she's trying to win him over and she's like, your name is Willow. You're beautiful like a willow. And yep.
Okay, I got the two mixed up because it falls off in the '09 one and he grabs it.
Yep.
So in the '72, she gives it to him as a friendship token so that, he'll let her go. So that when the family, because I don't think we really went over the whole fact of how the hell this clan is doing these acts in a forest, and then how the parents get involved. Is that this tends, and somebody's going to have to explain this to me, but they're trying to find the highway in both of them, and it goes right by their car breaks down right in front of her house.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take her out. Then for some reason they go out in the woods and do all these things right there with your car out on the road on the way to the highway of all things.
Yeah.
So you figure somebody else would stop. There'd be plenty of traffic. Anyway, so this is all going on the side of the road next to her house. But because it's a struggle, so the family's all, or the clan's all beat up, the car don't work, so they go to the house. Mm-hmm. And that's how the family figures out, the mom and dad find out that this clan had done something to their daughter. Mm-hmm. So you got Junior wearing the necklace. She eyeballs that. The father also sees all the marks on, I think it's Weasel's arm, the bite marks and stuff like that, and the gouge in Sadie's head. So they know there was a struggle somewhere. So they're not on the up and up. So when they see the necklace, that kind of pieces it there together. So that's the clan kind of not covering their tracks very well. Mm-hmm. So that was I thought that was interesting. And then they do the '70s thing where the voiceover and they just piece everything else in that you need. Mm-hmm. In 2009, though, it's the same thing, except for the only real clue that they get, other than a Junior, I guess he's still considered Junior. Yeah. As Justin on the thing, but we'll call him Junior. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only real evidence is that he leaves the necklace straight up on the cup that he used. Mm-hmm. So he's practically telling him.
Yep.
And I don't know that I like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just seem a little weird?
Well, not with how this Junior was set up to be. He's like 72 Junior. Like, yes, there's a certain level of him that doesn't want to kind of do this anymore. He's talking to Sadie while she's taking a bath. He's like, if I could, I'd just disappear and be a frog. And by the way, that dude does a really great frog voice.
It was, yes.
It was a really good frog.
I feel like he was cast just for that.
Yeah. Let's hear your frog. You got it. Yeah. Where, and it's like you get his apprehension and him not being completely down with everything that's going on. But I feel like in '09, they did a much better job with that with Justin Jr. 2.0, because he's hanging out with the girls and they're smoking pot. And then once dad comes back, he's fucking terrified. And he just very much shuts down. And he like almost instantly regrets everything. Like I don't think in the '09 he had any plans to try and kidnap anyone to brutalize them for anything. Whereas in 72, they were looking for people. They were looking for two women or a woman, maybe perhaps per Sadie's request, and then just setting Junior outside to sell drugs.
Well, that was just a happy accident, I think.
Yeah,
he was just out there just to get a break from everybody else.
But see, I still think he was out there because it made it. I felt like there was an implication that was all like on purpose, but it could have been. Maybe I'm not remembering things correctly. It happens.
Well, it was a movie from 72. It's probably not us, or at least we weren't high enough.
Right. The right kind of high. Whereas, yeah, with 09, they pretty much kind of set him up right away. And with the actor being definitely looking younger than the actor that played Junior in 72. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone was like in their 30s. I don't know how old Junior was supposed to be in 72. But in 09, you can definitely tell this is supposed to be a teen, like a late teen or something. He's supposed to be pretty young. Whereas I get the impression in 72 that Junior's still maybe like in his 20s or something. So legally an adult. So I feel like the chances of 09 Junior pretty much confessing it makes sense with just kind of how that character was introduced, set up, and really kind of how he maintained himself throughout the rest of the film. And so then at the end, when he gets the gun and turns on his dad and all of that, like that all completely makes sense. So for me, I thought it worked. I didn't really have a lot of issues with it. But for them to only have the necklace as any kind of indication, well, and I suppose at this point they can't get a hold of her, so they're starting to worry. But there's the storm. And people only have Nokia phones because it's 09. So
I always thought those things could get a signal anywhere. I mean, those things I never had a problem with those things.
I thought, if anything, they would make a good effective weapon. Just bash them in the head with that instead of with the rock. Hit them with the Nokia phone. Yeah, I guess for me, it was, it was fine. I guess maybe perhaps in the remake, it's like I know that at some point the parents are going to figure it out. It's going to be via Junior, one way or another, intentional or unintentional.
But I feel like the phrase "they figured it out" in the 09 is doing a lot of heavy lifting because, like we just said, Junior practically told them that they did it, or at least had something to do with it. It's not like the detectives in 72. So the parents, I mean, like the detectives.
Yeah.
Let's not go with the cops though.
So with the cops in 72,
go ahead.
I just have to say the part that just like they're fucking dopey as hell and trying to ride on the chicken truck is just, oh, and I guess content warning for like racist depiction of black people. Because Ada did not need to look like that and be all of that. But I digress. With the cops in 72, so they are leaving the house. The parents have called them to file like a missing persons report or whatever. They're leaving the driveway, driving down the street, and they see this disabled vehicle on the side of the road, hood up, trunk open. And one of them's like, oh, should we maybe check it out? And the other one's like, no, it's fine. We'll just go. It's not going to help find Mary any sooner. I'm like, you are the worst fucking cops on the planet. Just in the whole fucking galaxy, because at the very least, if you're not going to stop to investigate that, you send somebody else out. And then it isn't until they hear like the description of the car. And at this point, they've already been, I don't know, maybe it wasn't the same vehicle they escaped with, but it's already known that Krug and the gang are on the loose. So why not just check out the vehicle, run the plates? Oh my God, it was so infuriating.
Well, they had to hurry up and get back to the station so they could play checkers behind in front of that picture of Jesus.
Checkers for Jesus.
Well, I thought that was so weird. It's not a big picture. It's not like it's like a glaring thing. It's just a small little 4x6 of Jesus just hanging on the wall, but it's so prominently displayed that you could see it. I was like, what the hell? It's not in a frame. It's just hanging on it's just out there in the middle of nowhere.
I I got nothing there. I didn't even notice the picture of Jesus. I think maybe I was just like too busy rolling my eyes at the dumbass fucking cops.
Well,
And
no,
then,
you were so enthralled by the awesome writing. Like, don't you wish you could be
yes.
anything else? What do you mean, like a duck? What the fuck?
Well, and then so on my other podcast that I co-host with Aaron from It's a Fandom Thing, we watch horror movies and we try and guess how the other one feels about it. And so Halloween is her franchise, but she doesn't love all the movies. So when it's her month to pick, we've just been working through the Halloween movies. And we just recorded our episode covering Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
You've done all of them 1 through 5?
We've done 1, 2, 4, and 5. So she's pretty much depicting the order because she has said several times it's very much like a choose your own adventure kind of franchise because there's like timelines and this and that. So she's saving 3 for later. So we've done the first one. Well, we covered the first one on my podcast as a movie I hadn't seen. And so I synced it. So we were watching the 5th one, or I was watching the 5th one, and they got dopey ass fucking cops in that one too. And I'm like, what the hell is up with all these movies and dumbass cops? Well, reading the IMDb for Halloween 5, apparently the dopey cops were an homage to these dopey cops. And I was like, oh my God, unnecessary, but all right. But
All right,
why?
that makes sense.
But it was just super weird to have to watch 2 movies that were made more than a decade apart, just have the set of the dumbest fucking cops in history. It was just very odd. I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be fiction. Sorry. Not sorry. What were we talking about?
Dopey cops.
Dopey cops. So, okay, so I want to know, what did you think of the final blow to Krug? So in 72, it's via chainsaw, right as the dopey cops come in after walking 10 fucking miles because the dumbass forgot to gas up the police vehicle. Also, are there no other fucking cops in vehicles or any other emergency services they could have radioed instead of trying to walk the 10 miles to the calling? It doesn't matter.
Well, that's the whole point I was making. That in both movies, I thought they were both headed to the highway, and in neither of those movies is there more than 2 cars. You're on the way to the highway. There should be a lot more cars than that, I would have thought.
Maybe it's just like a back road, like trying to be more off the radar, and like taking the county highways instead of like Main Street to get to the highway.
But how far away from the highway were they to begin with then that's the way they would have to go? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I think both are pre-GPS, so they're going to get lost because they're all dumb. I don't know.
No. I don't know. That was my point anyway.
But I would agree because like with the title, The Last House, I guess I just always assumed that the Collingswood in both, like they're off, like they're on like a cul-de-sac, like a dead end. I don't know why I just always assumed that, but maybe, well, no, because I don't know. Because it would have to be a dead end to be the last house on the left, right? Because if it was like a full street, then the other end could be a last house on the left too.
Yeah.
That's why it was always a one-way or a dead end. Okay, but what did you think of 72 Krug versus Chainsaw and 09 Krug versus Microwave? That was an old ass microwave too, because I was like, you can't start a microwave with the door open anymore.
Well, it was malfunctioning anyway, so I don't know that.
I mean, it looked old enough.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, wasn't his wife's brother there, and he broke the microwave? So
that's right. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that passing comment. Yeah, because her brother was there, and he like fucked a bunch of shit up. He left a bunch of ate and drank all the stuff or something.
And left a $4 bottle of champagne.
Yes.
Or wine, sorry.
Yes. Hey, don't knock the $4 stuff. Sometimes that shit can be pretty decent.
It just needs to have alcohol at that point. Screw it.
But what'd you think of how they met their demise in each?
I thought it was cool for both. I mean, just in chainsaw for one, microwave for the other. I mean, damn, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But the gore in 72 wasn't nearly as bad as everybody seemed to make it out to be. Like it just seemed like a lot of red paint and other than the one scene where somebody had apparently went to the butcher shop just to grab some sausage links and put them as a stomach thing. That was pretty
Mm-hmm.
much all it really was for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't all that gory or depicting. At least I didn't see it any more than that.
I didn't really think so. It was about as gory as I guess I would expect from a 72 movie. I always thought like the gutting was pretty fucking up there. Like pretty intense for even 72. And then
I
I
didn't think it
always
was that bad at all.
but see the fact that like they just still showed it. You know what I mean? Like showing her pull a liver out or something. Like the fact that they just even were like playing in the guts versus just like stabbing and like gutting. I remember I was watching years ago one of those like top 100 horror movies, blah, blah, blah. And whenever they got to the 72 Last House on the Left, because Wes Craven was part of that little kind of countdown documentary thing, he had mentioned that the day they filmed that, they filmed the gutting and Sadie pulling the guts out and everything, and he yelled cut, and it was supposed to be lunchtime, and he's like, everyone just quietly walked off set for the day. No one went to lunch, no one said anything. So I guess for me, kind of knowing that, especially on the rewatch, was just like, yeah, man, that was really fucking intense. But the gore for the '09 was definitely like some 2000s gore. I mean, we start with a cop getting his head blown off, splattered against the inside of the windshield, you know, and then stabbing of Paige, and then oh my god, and then Weasel's death in '09. That was fucking beautifully brutal. I enjoyed that way too much. It was so good.
It was satisfying.
Yeah, very satisfying. So, and I did find that the overall fight scene between Dad and Krug in the '09 was much better than the one in the original. It felt a lot more intense, a lot more like you could feel like the emotion like from the dad and everything, and Krug more or less trying to like be like a cat playing with his food, like not really taking it super seriously unless that's just kind of his way. But
Well,
I
it's kind of
thought
the bad guy thing, isn't it? You know?
the cockiness kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. But I thought the showdown between Dad and Krug in the remake was much better. I enjoyed that. And then I enjoyed seeing Krug's head get exploded, but I'm not like that was fine and it was satisfying, but at the same time I'm like I feel like I wanted more. I couldn't tell you what, but because at that point, you know, the dad had paralyzed him because he didn't have any rope or tape to keep
Yeah.
him from moving. And I was like, way to use your doctor skills.
Well, I was expecting his face or head to more melt than anything. I don't think it would explode.
I don't care. I guess I was
'Cause an
hoping for
explosion-
more mutilation.
Because I was going to say an explosion requires pressure, but there was no pressure. So
That's true.
I just assumed it would have melted or something like that, or started on fire.
Started on fire, but I mean, yeah, I liked seeing his head go kablooey. I don't care how or why, but I don't know. I felt like, I mean, I suppose at that point after the fight scene and everything, we don't need a whole hell of a lot, but I don't know. It would have been nice to see him like cut off a limb or two or a finger, just a little more torturing. I mean, at that point, you finally got the guy and just really make him pay.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, you know, it couldn't be a way along because at that point, I suppose she's at the hospital. His wife is with her, so he can't be gone for too long. You got to try to explain that.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
I don't think you really have to explain too much then at that point.
No, I don't think so. And I can't remember where the remake is supposed to take place, so I'm not sure what their like castle law, stand your ground laws are.
I'm
so
sure back in 2009 that wasn't a thing.
Probably.
It wasn't a thing back in 2009. I'm almost positive of that.
That's what I kept thinking throughout watching it. I was like, man, they must have really good stand your ground laws there. Because they are not letting up. I get
Well,
it, though.
the only other thing I could think of about, because I was thinking about that too, is this is apparently, so to speak, so to be in a small town, right? And the cops are talking, at least in the first one,
Mm-hmm.
they're talking like they see each other all the time. Hell, they could probably be
Mm-hmm.
best friends going to each other's houses for barbecues every weekend.
Yep.
So to have the family do what they did to that clan, I'm sure the cops have just threw the body somewhere and never saw him.
I would not have at all be surprised. Yeah.
And I'm fine with that answer.
Me too. I'm okay with that.
I never got that feeling, but there were no cops in the '09 one though.
No, other than like the two that die in the beginning, I don't think we saw
Yeah.
any other law
I'm
enforcement
not even talking in the
types.
background either. Well, there was the one
No.
cop car that drove by the hotel that they were
Oh,
staying.
yeah.
But that was it. That don't count.
Yeah. No, that does not count. So, yeah, I did like the absence of dopey cops and really kind of cops in general in the remake. So I appreciate that.
What else? Oh, one little side note though that I wrote down is during the struggle in the woods, they chase her down. They chase Mary around for a while, and they get to a spot right before the lake or pond or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all cut grass. And the first thing I'm thinking of is you're going to start shooting a gun. Clearly, somebody mows this.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to start shooting a gun.
Yes. Yep.
I get you're probably under some pressure and you're probably not thinking, but I don't know. That to me was just like, I don't think I'm shooting a gun,
Yeah.
making a stink on somebody's lawn.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of no thinking in that because I was kind of wondering, I'm like, how are you just going to continue to fire and nobody hears that? Like, you're clearly like close enough to her home, right? She knows that she's close to home. But so there's got to be some other people around. Even vacation homes, like they're not spaced out that far where no one is going to hear a gunshot.
And not only that, but it even shows how close they are because the dog freaks out in the first one hearing it. And I know dogs have got better sound, or better hearing, but it's close enough that the dog is startled by it. It's not like it's a fade in the back.
Right.
So,
and that was all before it started raining, right? Because you could kind of be like, oh, well, it was raining really hard, so probably didn't hear. But the gunfire happened before the rain started. So somebody had to have heard it.
You would think.
Maybe you would think. Maybe someone did. Maybe it was a dopey ass cop on vacation. I don't fucking know. He's like, not my jurisdiction.
I'm off. I'm not on the clock. Screw it.
Exactly.
NMP, not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so there was one scene I wanted to bring up though too that kind of grabbed me. It's in the 72. It's right after Krug gets done with the act in the forest, and it's him and Weasel and Sadie and all of them are standing there, and it almost looked like they all had remorse, like this just got pushed over the edge.
Yes.
And they watch her kind of walk off, but then they just follow her, not like just not knowing what to do until she goes out into the lake, almost begging to be shot at that point. It felt like she was just like, just finish me off.
Yeah.
And so he does. And then they start, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what that all was. Did you parse that out?
Yes, I completely agree. I actually did have a little squiggle note about like what they seemed so much more joyful or took so much more delight in tormenting and killing Phyllis than they did with their treatment of Mary. I really don't understand what that is about. And again, this might be a really teeny tiny nugget of Sadie being like, oh, maybe we did take it too far, because her demeanor is completely different than it had been all the way up until that moment. All of them. They did not seem to delight in any of it. maybe Mary didn't fight or scream enough. Where they're just like, that wasn't worth it. I don't fucking know, but it was weird. Because then, yeah, they just go to start cleaning up in the water. And even then, it didn't seem like it was them being their fun-loving psychotic selves, you know? I agree. I always thought that was kind of odd, and I never understood it.
Well, especially for as bad as that news bulletin when they're introducing the Klan made it sound like this should have been another day at the office for him, what they did.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have done anything. So I don't quite get that and what Wes Craven was trying to go for at that point.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't know.
It would have been one thing if they weren't as, like, if they were just killed, like if they just killed a couple people or whatever, then fine. But to have the sex crimes and all that stuff that they were convicted of as well too, it's like this should have just been another day at the office.
Right.
So it didn't seem to fit for me. I don't know. I would love to hear somebody else's theory about what that was all about, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've got nothing. I've always kind of thought, I'm glad you brought that up, because yeah, I've always thought that was like, really, like a that much of a shift in the tone with these three. Because you just would not expect it.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that it was is that because it was Mary, she was pretty wholesome. Like, she wasn't a city girl or anything like that. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it, because Phyllis was a city girl and Mary kind of was, small town wholesome girl. That's the only thing I can think of. But even then, if you're doing the stuff that they said that they were doing, that wouldn't matter anyway.
Exactly. In fact, you would almost think they would enjoy that more. I don't understand. But if any, I would love to hear anyone else's theories or their takes on that, because it just does not make sense character-wise with those three cuckoo birds. But yeah, so like my note is like, yeah, the gang seemed to delight in the murder of Phyllis, but not so much in Mary's. There's much more of like a solemn tone. I was like, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say regret or anything, but almost like annoyed or something. But just, again, a shift in their tone and their demeanor.
It almost seemed like genuine regret.
A bit. Like, I was hesitant to actually call it regret, because I'm like, I don't know if these characters are capable of that, but maybe this is the indication that they are still humans. But why are we trying to humanize vile people like this after the radio announcement of how terrible they fucking are? Like, oh, look, they're people. They feel bad. No, they don't. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. So we'll go ahead and hit up our stray bubble. So this is the last chance to bring up notes, fun facts, final rants, raves, whatever. You got anything left there, Dozer?
I got a couple things. All right. One of the things, top one on my list that we haven't gotten to is that the 72 only got a 5.8 on IDBM. Or IMDb. What did I say?
You said it backwards, but that's okay. I wasn't going to judge.
Well, yeah. Thank you. No, you will, just when we hang up.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd that it was only a 5.8. It definitely wasn't his best. I mean, this is the guy that came out with Nightmare on Elm Street, for crying out loud. So
I gave this a 7 because I have issues, but I sometimes, with a rating this low on this movie specifically, and especially a movie this old, it just makes me think that, younger generations are watching it and reviewing it and rightfully not okay with the subject matter. And perhaps I don't read user reviews on IMDb because I usually just get mad. So that's just my thought. That's just a wild guess, is that they just did not care for the subject matter. And I don't blame them. It's a tough fucking watch. I think both of them can be, especially to have to watch them back to back. It can be, it can be fucking rough. But I don't know. And I guess for me, because I am a sick individual, I have more of like a childhood nostalgic tie to this movie. That's such a weird thing to say. But for me, that's why I gave it a 7.
Well, I was also going to ask you too, like how do you feel about movies that use essay as kind of uh, a jumping off point or starting point for a movie like movies like these?
So, okay, so on one hand, I don't mind it, but it's how much of it are we shown? How much do they feel the need to show? You know what I mean? Because you can get that point across pretty easily without having to go as far as even '09 did with the depiction. And according to IMDb, it took 17 hours to film the '09 assault scene. Why the fuck would it need to take that long? That just pisses me off.
It's kind of
But
gross, actually.
yeah. So I feel like, I mean, 72, at least with Phyllis's assault, because we don't see it, we just hear it. That can be enough. We know what's happening. We don't need to see it. We don't need slow shots, zoom ins, anything like that. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, so I guess it kind of depends on the overall story. How is it used? How much of it are we being shown? Are we having to sit through? Because you don't need to put audiences through all of that to convey that and to understand and to want to sympathize and be on the side of the ones getting revenge. Does that make any sense at all? Did I just kind of ramble in a circle? Because
No, I pretty much agree with what you're saying. I view this the whole essay thing like I do tit shots in Friday the 13th series. Like I'm fine with you doing it a little bit, but when you start getting to the reboot Friday the 13th and you start doing shit like that, you're starting to lose me pretty bad. So I don't mind that they show it. Like, I think I Spit on Your Grave, the original,
my
did it
God.
almost just perfectly. Like
Yeah.
it's you see enough, but it's also enough of the two different takes where you see just her and then just the guy. So you know they're not doing anything to each other, but it's when you see them together that it really starts to kind of strike. But it's but it was in such a small snippet that they did it in I Spit on Your Grave that there was the right amount. And so I was fine with that. But in the 2009 Last House on the Left, yeah, it got into reboot Friday the 13th territory as far as I was concerned. 72, I think they did a pretty decent job with it. There was enough cuts and stuff like that that you got the idea.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, you don't have to show like, because what was I think even maybe in both, but you know, the girls are like grabbing the grass, you know, so you get what's going on without having like there's ways around it to get the point across without having to show it. There was a movie, a Nick Cage movie that Timmy and I were watching a while ago. He actually had to go to bed because he had to work in the morning, so he didn't get to finish it. But that movie, so it's called Vengeance, a Love Story, and it's apparently based off a book called Rape, a Love Story. Nice, right? So in the movie, a young mom is sexually assaulted in front of her daughter, a young daughter. And that scene goes on for way too fucking long, way too long. And
how old is this movie?
I would probably say maybe somewhere in the 2000s.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. And then Nick Cage plays a cop, and he basically, this is his case, and it gets to the point where, you know, he like somehow like whatever, he meets the little girl, and so now he like his vengeance is like he's gonna go and enact revenge on behalf. So he goes outside of, you know, the law and whatnot, and one by one takes all these assailants out. And while like that's fine and dandy, like it was nice that, you know, I like seeing a nice vengeful Nicolas Cage, considering
Isn't
what
that
I
all
just
his movies?
almost, but it's like considering what I just sat through with what the mom had to endure. The revenge death scenes needed to be more satisfying. And I feel like we just didn't really get that in that movie. And it was very fucking upsetting because, again, the scene did not have to go on that long for us to understand the brutality of what the mom went through and the trauma that the daughter is going through. And the mom knows the daughter's there, too. That's even fucking worse. So Timmy was mad because he had to go to bed before all the vengeance stuff started. So he didn't even get that kind of satisfaction of seeing these pieces of shit die. And I was like, well, you probably wouldn't have liked it anyway. It wasn't super satisfying. But again, that movie did not need to do all of that. It was fucking brutal. It was terrible. I do not recommend that movie to anyone. So again, did not need to be shown for us to understand what was going on and what needed to happen for the movie. So really makes you wonder about some of these filmmakers. And that movie came out in 2017. Vengeance, a Love Story. But yeah, it just makes you wonder. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it really kind of makes you wonder about some of these folks that are just like, no, we're going to put in a nice 5-minute long rape scene. Why?
Probably got some FBI watch list.
Fucking hope so.
The only other thing I have is, did you happen to see some of the names in the credits for the 72?
I did not.
One name should have jumped out at you instantly.
What?
Sean S. Cunningham. You don't know who that is, do you? That's the creator of Friday the 13th. He was a producer on this. Not only was he a producer in this, also Stephen Miner was also a part of this, who also helped Sean Cunningham in the Friday the 13th series. I thought that was brilliant. I knew that Wes Craven and them had worked together on other stuff. I didn't realize that they were such a big deal in his first movie, though.
Huh. Interesting. No, I had no idea. Didn't even clock that, not even for a second. Good catch,
I remember watching it originally, and I saw the name pop up on the screen. I was like, "What the fuck? Did that name that I just saw pop across the screen?" So yeah, instantly I had to start looking it up during the movie.
Of course.
But yeah, I didn't realize that both of those guys were in this movie.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Stephen Miner was actually the hippies that drove by the cops and flipped them off. He was part of one of those in that group. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is very cool. That is a fun fact.
You're welcome.
See. Yeah. Good job, Dozer.
So I did my good thing for the day. Too bad it took this long.
Let's see.
That's all I got for little tidbits and stuff like that.
Okay. The only other thing I have is with regards to the '09, co-producer Jonathan Craven appeared as a child in The Last House on the Left in 72. He was the young boy with the balloon that Krug bursts as he's walking by. And yes, he is the co-producer of the '09 Last House on the Left.
Really? Oh, that's kind of cool, too.
Isn't that kind of fun? All sorts of fun facts, see? Heavy topics, but we'll end it on a fun note, so...
Fair enough. Well, do you want to just do a quick recap of what you thought again, and maybe likes, dislikes, or something like that? Just a real quick recap.
Sure. So overall for the '09, I'm fine with all of the changes. Well, not all of the changes. There's like the two big ones that I do not care for. But otherwise, the remake is a pretty decent little remake. It's like I've said, it's very much like a product of its time. It's very much '09, and it's got that kind of '09 horror movie vibe to it. So it's almost like its own little time capsule. 72, as fucked up as it sounds, that's going to be my choice between the two. Again, I more or less grew up watching that one. The rape scenes aren't so in your face. And Mary dies. And those are the things that I really like about that one. But I did not hate the '09 remake. So what about you?
The too long didn't read, I guess, is how it was. The kids still say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is yeah, the or the 72 version was pretty good. You can definitely tell it's one of his first films, but overall, it's definitely a decent film. It's definitely worth a watch. Obviously, trigger warnings and all that if you're sensitive to that stuff. The acting was pretty well. I mean, in 72 they really wanted to go kind of low key with the cast because they didn't want the star power. They didn't want to feel like somebody had to bring what would you call that, extra baggage from who they are
Sure.
into the film. Yeah, and obviously the Klan was the big thing in 72. They stole the show. I thought Fred Lincoln was really good, but David Hess, holy shit, did he.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is about him, and he did a hell of a job.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2009, I don't know. I kind of felt like, did you feel like it it felt like a different movie than Last House on the Left? But obviously 72 had the comedy and stuff, which I'm glad they didn't bring into this. They took all the good stuff out of 72, the heaviness of it and the dark gritty gang, and really kind of showcased that, which I thought is definitely what they need to do. And
Mm-hmm.
it tripped all the right triggers for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. Obviously the SA scene went on a little longer than needed, but I kind of get it, so I'm not going to harp on that. Then the
Mm-hmm.
cast in 2009, probably one of the better ones we've had in quite a while when it came to remakes. So I'll give them
Agreed.
props on that.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, just because I said it, and I'll say it again, I will shit on Aaron Paul any chance I can. But this time I have to eat crow.
All
He did an
right.
excellent job. So
Well, I appreciate you admitting that. So, all right. So, this is where we are going to rank our remakes. Are you ready for that?
not even remotely, honestly. But because I'm gonna take the cheap way out. So
Okay. All right. Well, I've got my little list here. So, just to recap, the ones that we have covered so far in the order that we covered them. The first one was Nightmare on Elm Street. Then we did Friday the 13th, RoboCop, Little Shop of Horrors, Evil Dead, Black Christmas '06 and Black Christmas 19, The Thing 2011, Total Recall, Dread, Ghostbusters 2016 and Ghostbusters 2023, Mean Girls the musical, and now Last House on the Left. So we have ranked these in, the ones we like the most to not. So are you ready? Do you still need a second? Because I can.
hold on. I got Total Recall. What was after that?
Dread,
Oh yeah, Dread. And then what was after that?
Ghostbusters 2016 and then 2023.
Okay. And then it was Mean Girls and then Last
Mm-hmm.
House on the Left.
Yep.
All right. To be cheap about it, I was just gonna say my rankings from last time are just still the same, except for Last House on the Left just gets ranked in with all those other ones I had in the middle. I
I
told
don't
you I was
even
gonna be cheap
remember.
about it.
I don't even remember which ones he had because I listened to our Mean Girls episode because I was like, fuck, I can't remember what I rated what. So I only listened to my part. I didn't listen to yours.
That's fair.
So
Nobody should be listening to my part, period, on
yeah.
anything.
Except for here. That's fine. You can listen to his part here because you don't know when he stops talking, I start talking. So just listen
Fair
to the whole
enough.
thing.
Like,
All
because
right.
I had Little Shop, I think is number one, Evil Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one more I thought, but maybe not. That I
Was
had
it
like
Black?
ranked at the top two.
Yeah. Was it Black Christmas '06? I couldn't remember if you.
No, because I think it was just
No.
those two, and then I had a like RoboCop,
Mm-hmm.
Black Christmas '06. Then I had Thing, Total Recall, and I feel like Dread and Mean
Mm.
Girls. Or maybe Mean Girls wasn't in there, but I had a bunch of them all in there at three
Yeah.
that were I could watch any of them. I'd be happy with it. And I'm gonna throw Last House on the Left, 2009 in there too. Decent movie. I would definitely not turn it off if it was on. So, but then it went in some particular order. Mean Girls, the remake, or the reboot I didn't care for. Ghostbusters, no, that was in the group. Friday the 13th, Nightmare, and then and then How Dare You Call Yourself Black Christmas?
That's right.
That's the official title of it.
Yes.
The 2019 or whatever it was.
Yes, I think that's pretty much all we said throughout that episode was, I think we just said, how dare you? How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
All
poor
right.
Carrie.
Oh, Carrie. I never watched the remake. I loved the original. That was actually one of the first movies that I actually read the book first and then watched the movie.
No, I was talking about Carrie Hughes. He was in the Black Christmas.
Carrie Elwes, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he has to put that, he has to put that on his resume. And I'm like, no, you don't, dude.
But see, it's fine because he's got The Princess Bride, and that is going to overshadow everything else. It's fine. It's fine. He's a Dread Pirate Roberts.
Hopefully they just read that because it's early in his career, and they just stop reading after that.
Hopefully. Because then he was also in, what was it? The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. Again, we have a minor crushing on an older man. And granted, he didn't reciprocate, but still, what the fuck? Anyway, the 90s were a weird, horny, predatory time.
Release the Epstein files.
Release the Epstein. No shit. Okie dokie. So for my ranking, I will start with, I'll start from the bottom. The ones that I hate the most.
No. Start from the top. Start from the top. I always want to hear where you put RoboCop. And I know it's at the bottom, but I hate hearing how it's always last.
Well, it's not last, but, I did have to shift some things around to make room for Last House on the Left. So, all right. Number 1, Little Shop. Nothing else needs to be said. For number 2, Evil Dead. I really fucking love that movie. We should cover Evil Dead Rise just maybe as its own separate thing sometime. Because I'd like to hear your thoughts.
And Ash versus Evil Dead or no?
We could. I will need more time planning wise to watch Ash versus Evil Dead, but we can sort that out later.
Okay.
Okay, so Little Shop, and then Evil Dead, and then Black Christmas 06, and then The Thing 2011, Dread is at number 5. I'm going to put Last House on the Left 09 at number 6.
That's solid.
Kind of somewhere in the middle like that. Let's see. Ghostbusters 2016 is number 7. Mean Girls is 8. Ghostbusters 23 is 9. Total Recall is 10. Do I not have an 11? How many have we done? Okay, hold on. Where am I? Oh, shit. Okay. Let's see. We'll put then, okay, so then after Total Recall is RoboCop.
Hey!
And then Black Christmas 19. I don't know why that's as high as it is. And then after that, it's Nightmare and then Friday. So those are the bottom 3 is Black Christmas, Friday, and Nightmare. So,
That's fair. It's close. Yeah. I just like how RoboCop now rose to fourth from the last Friday for you.
Yeah. That movie made me real fucking mad that day.
I don't expect it to get up to number 3. I don't expect it to get up to number 3, but I do want it at least in the middle.
Okay.
So it's working its way up.
Yeah, we got to keep doing some bad ones, like where the remakes are terrible, where then it'll get bumped up. So
let's not make that a goal.
Oh, okay.
Like watching terrible ones.
Yeah. All right. On now to the 6 Degrees of Nicolas Cage. And this is where we connect one of these movies. We didn't have to do both. To Nicolas Cage in 6 Steps or Less. Why? Why the fuck not? So, Dozer, how'd you do?
Well, this is why I gave you shit earlier in this episode. Because now you already know who I'm going with and what it is.
Yeah.
I'll let you
But the audience doesn't. No, go. God.
Well, I was going to pick, because I always do, Monica Potter, because she's, every guy back in, that would have been early 90s still when Cage was hot in the theaters for Con Air. So
That's
yeah,
right. Good job. One step. Yeah, I forgot. So mine I just kind of happened upon. I was looking up Tony Goldwyn's filmography because I'm like, what else have I seen him in? And obviously he's in the movie Ghost with Demi Moore, who is in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So that's how I got there. But I wasn't trying to use Tony. It just happened. I was like, hey,
fair enough.
neat. I'm done.
Did you do one for the 72?
I did not. I was going to, but then I just didn't have time or the gumption to figure out
Should
how
we do
to
it right
do
now?
that. You want to do it right now? Did you do one
Like,
for 72?
no, but I would like to see if we can get David Hess.
Okay.
Isn't there a 6 Degrees website that you can just type in somebody's name and another actor and they'll try to.
Yes, there is it's called the Oracle of Bacon. And you can plug in the 2 different actors that you're trying to connect. It doesn't have to be Kevin Bacon, but it will produce
Should
you
we do that quick?
the 6 steps. Go for it. Did you want to pull it up?
What did you? I can try. We just call it the Oracle of Bacon.
Yes.
I don't know that it'll do this.
It has to. Let's see. It might take a second.
Oh, apparently Nicolas Cage was in Hey the Ghost, which was with Lauren Betty, who was in Smash Cut with David Hess.
Really?
That's actually pretty close.
That is really close.
It's the same guy. I just clicked on his name too to make sure it was the right David Hess. And yeah, it is.
That is awesome.
I thought it was going to be some long-winded thing. I was kind of excited about that.
I know. It is like insanely crazy how many of these that I've done on this podcast where it's like 3 steps or less. A lot of them 1 or 2 steps. And I'm here for that. I was going to try and see if I could do it just through old IMDb. And it's kind of one of those where it's like, I know it's there. I know it's there after just kind of quickly going through, clicking some different actors and credits and everything. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could do it in only a few steps, but I don't want to do that right now. I feel like it's one of those, like, you overthink it when the answer is like right there.
Like
So
Monica Potter?
Yes, shut up.
I can't believe you missed that.
Shut up. That's all I'm going to keep saying. I have no defense. Just shut up. All right. So lastly, what's been streaming in your bubble there, Dozer? What have you been watching? Or if you haven't been watching much, any video games you're playing? Just what you been up to?
So over the summer, it was a lot of Brewer games. Had a historic season for that. They were able to beat the Cubs in a thrilling Game 5 in the postseason, and that's all we'll say about that. Because the next round wasn't so good. Currently football season. Been enjoying that as much as I can. Haven't been keeping up with wrestling though. We kind of fell out of that lately, but we're going to start that back up. Wrestling has been replaced by Bluey.
Really?
We've been watching the shit out of Bluey.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not here. I'll even prove it to you. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this.
Okay. No hate, but like, why? Like,
because it says Bluey.
Because it says Bluey? But like,
we're going to try it.
Okay. But like, why have you been watching it? What's been the draw?
So back in January, her friend Melissa was here with her son. And so
okay.
They put it on for the boy, and I kind of got hooked on it a little bit. So we've been watching. We didn't watch it since then, and the last couple months we've been just watching the shit out of Bluey. There's nothing really much else to watch, so we got rid of our satellite, and so I've been using YouTube TV, which I'm
yeah.
But I never really watched a whole lot of TV anyway, so we were just looking for something to watch in the bedroom, for a half hour before we go to bed. And Bluey was on there, so we've just been watching the shit out of that.
I fucking love that so much. Not what I was expecting. Again, proof we're in a weird ass timeline, but hey, it's all right. I hear nothing but amazing things about Bluey because I work at the children's desk at the library. So all the kids, all the littles, Bluey this, Bluey that, that's fine. Everything that I've heard about the show, especially from like parents, like, like our age parents and everything, and a little younger than us, I am kind of sad that like our kids did not grow up in the Bluey era because it sounds like just such a sweet, lovely, emotionally aware kids show. And not just emotionally aware for the children, but for the adult characters as well. And the number of like posts and TikToks or whatever I've seen of parents just being like, I cried my fucking eyeballs out. I can't believe we're watching this, but like they love the show. So like I said, I hear nothing but wonderful things about it, but I am just a little blown away that you guys are watching it, like in a good way.
Yeah.
Last thing I ever would have expected.
Well, for your listeners, we don't have kids, so it's just we're watching it just cause.
That's the part I forgot.
I bet Timmy would get a kick out of it too.
He might. He gets real picky about like animated series, even if they're like adult oriented animated shows, because he's just like, I don't know. He's kind of one of those. He gets a weird hang up about it, but I'm just kind of like, well, I don't have to watch kids stuff anymore, so I'm not gonna. That's my thing.
Give Bluey a shot, or at least maybe, now that your kids are growing up, maybe give that a couple years, and then maybe he'll come back to Bluey.
Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we've been watching just kind of a lot of random stuff, but we're doing kind of a casual rewatch of Star Trek Voyager. Cut it on TV a couple of times and just decided, you know what, fuck it. We'll just kind of start rewatching the series. So we started around, I think, like season 3 rather than going all the way back to the beginning. So just kind of been slowly working our way through that when we just want something that's an easy watch. Like if we don't want to start like something new, like a movie or a new series or anything like that, it's been a nice comfort watch. So I do like Voyager. Let's see. All I have to say is Tuvok is the best, but only second to the hologram doctor, and fuck Neelix. And that's it.
I understood none of that, so.
I know. It's all right. Those that do, do.
Okay. I was going to ask, are you gearing up for season 5 of Stranger Things?
You know what sucks about that is I could be so much more fucking excited about it than I am because it's been 42 goddamn years and they're all about to have grandbabies.
Yeah.
That's my only big problem, but I am excited to finally get the exciting conclusion of Stranger Things. It better not suck. It better be well worth the fucking wait. But again, this whole like 5 seasons in 10 years is ridiculous. And it's hard to be excited about something like that. You know what I mean? Like Netflix really did a number on killing the momentum of the popularity of that show. They fucked that one up basically. But I will watch it. When it is all finally out, because aren't they doing like 2 parts again? So they're going to release like a couple of episodes. Was it like November, December, and then like the second half or whatever it is, it pisses me off. Just give it all to me now. Don't stop fucking around.
Because last I heard, and I could be getting this wrong, but I thought they were releasing 1 episode in November, 3 of them in December, and then I have no idea what the hell's going on after that.
That just fucking pisses me off.
And they're like, I think on average, they're like an hour and 15 minutes long. I know there's one that's just under an hour, but then there's another one that's like an hour and 20 some minutes.
They fucking better. They better make it worth it.
Oh, they're talking the series finale is going to be like 8 hours long. That's a joke.
I mean, at this point, I don't fucking care. As long as it's all at once, they don't break it up into 8 years. So
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, according to Google, the first 4 episodes will drop on November 26th. And then episodes 5, 6, and 7 will drop on Christmas, December 25th, with the final episode, fucking bullshit, on December 31st. That's such a fucking cheap retention tactic. It pisses me off because they know the second they drop all those fucking episodes, people are going to binge it and then bounce because fuck that bullshit. Oh, it makes me so fucking mad. But yes, I will watch and I'll be excited. I could be more excited, but still.
What was the reason for such the long break between 4 and 5?
I don't know. That's just what they've done with the series. Is it's always been like a year plus between seasons. So for whatever reason, whatever bullshit reason Netflix wants to blow up our ass, something about contracts and other projects for the actors and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's a bunch of horse shit. Fucking assholes. Anyway, enough about that. Let me close this fucking show so we can be done because I still have to edit this shit. Holy hell. All right. Well, thank you, Dozer, for being here today and for talking about this super fun, uplifting, happy movies with me. I appreciate it. We definitely need to figure something out for next year. Hopefully it won't be a whole ass year. And yeah, I just want to thank all the listeners for tuning in.
Me too.
And tuning in and hearing us ramble on. Appreciates that. Let us know what you thought of these two movies, if you have a preference over the original or the remake, and let us know what some of your theories are. Help us answer some questions that we didn't understand. You can send those to mystreamingbubble@gmail.com, or you can post it in the comments. You can hit me up on the socials. I'm on like fucking all of them: Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. But yeah, until then, again, thank you all for listening and keep streaming. Goodbye. Say goodbye.
Bye.
If you're enjoying this podcast, be sure to let me know by rating and reviewing on a podcast player near you, and by sharing your favorite episodes with your friends, family, and mail carrier. Then be sure to follow me on all your favorite socials like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Just search My Streaming Bubble and I should pop on up there for ya. If you have suggestions on what I should stream in my bubble next, or you want to be tolerated, send an email to mystreamingbubble@gmail.com. Looking for merch? Stop by my Redbubble store where you can find and buy My Streaming Bubble stickers, hats, shirts, and more. You can also head over to buymeacoffee.com and, well, buy me a coffee. Need more podcast me in your life? Then be sure to check out my other podcast, Twin It to Win It. That's a monthly podcast that I co-host with my podcast brain twin, Aaron from It's a Fandom Thing, where we test our twinningness by trying to guess if we both feel the same way about different horror movies. You can find and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And most importantly, you can listen, rate, review, and share from most podcast players. Thank you for your support and keep streaming. Goodbye. You did such a good job.